Alcohol dependence syndrome is a mental and often physical state where one tends to display compulsive behaviors towards the use of alcohol for an extended period of time. Alcohol is often used by individuals who take comfort in the stress reducing effects, and this comfort is typically seen as the underlying factor for alcohol dependence. To get a better understanding of how alcoholism plays a role in a family setting, I interviewed my lifelong friend about his father's drinking habits, and I was fortunate enough to interview one of his father's coworkers as well to form a more accurate picture. My childhood friend explained to me that his father's drinking habits began early on in his teen years with his brothers and has continued to worsen since then. My friend further explained about how his uncle's drinking habits were so bad that they actually passed away at early ages because of this chronic alcohol dependence, which goes to show how strong alcoholism is genetically. His father does not show aggressive behavior that's usually seen in alcoholics, but he does show many antisocial behavioral traits that have been contributing to his long-term depression. One of the major points I brought up when interviewing my friend was how alcohol dependence syndrome is genetic and that he has a higher chance of falling into this cycle. This idea was hard for him to comprehend and come to terms with. Although he realizes the implications, he has recently began to drink more excessively than ever before. For an alcoholic, when the thoughts of having a drink enter the mind, it is often hard to deter. These thoughts usually take over their mind, and since the alcohol can be very addictive, these users will often temporarily discount any long-term goals in order to fulfill their short-term cravings for alcohol. My friend's father has always had difficulty when it comes to waiting for a drink. I have personally seen him wake up at 8 a.m. to open a bottle of spirit. If he were to stop drinking at this point in his addiction, he would probably develop alcohol withdrawal delirium due to his heavy drinking habits. The habits that his father has formed over the years has made him a prisoner to the drug. This imprisonment to alcohol often leads to other illicit drug use as well. When interviewing his coworkers, this was extremely apparent. One of his coworkers told me a time when my friend's father walked into a board meeting reeking of hard alcohol and other chemicals. I found out later from my friend that his father was in fact using cocaine and occasionally opiates in conjunction with alcohol. His coworkers were also explaining how his work efforts have been declining and that he actually may be losing his job in the near future because of how bad his addiction has become. Excessive alcohol use is often used to cover up symptoms of depression, especially in men, and can even lead to major depression if left untreated. My friend's father has never been an outgoing or pro-social guy since as long as I've known him, and I would suspect it's due to his depression along with the depressive effects that alcohol can produce. As my friend was growing up, his father was never really around because he was always working, and if he wasn't working, he was hitting the bottle. My friend told me during the interview that his father will drink about 2 bottles of wine to himself and have several mixed drinks after that, on a good night. He also explained how his father was never there mentally for him during his childhood and only more recently began to connect with his son. This connection came at a time when my friend was now of age to legally drink. When we were younger, it was apparent that his mother raised him, and that my friend did not have a prominent father figure until about the age of 20 to 21. My friend was very disheartened and felt like he was left in the dust for most of his life. But when his father started to connect with him, he was fully engaged in his father's attention. And this attention has been the driving factor in my friend's recent alcohol addiction. It's sad to see a good childhood friend of whom you care about follow in the footsteps of his alcoholic father, and I've tried many times to logically explain how he has a higher predisposition to alcoholism, but every time it is brought up, he pushes away, and this has ultimately destroyed our friendship. Although alcohol addiction can be difficult, there are steps to recovery, and if one realizes they need help and are willing to engage in this recovery, then the future holds much opportunity. But without this excessive use of alcohol, life can be great, and one will have the potential to grow in ways they may have never thought.